CNN, the cable news network. It went on the air on June 1st, 1980. It represents a before and after moment in broadcasting, in media, in journalism. If one was challenged to pick out CNN's finest moment, it would be a very, very difficult task. There have been so many. But if the challenge were to pick out CNN's lowest moment, its most disgraceful 90 minutes, it would be easy. It is incontestably the disgrace that was aired on CNN and ordered by CNN CEO and Chairman Chris Licht and dressed up as news. What is it that the American people saw? What they saw was a propaganda event. What they saw was a forum given to Trump's voters and sycophants. What they saw was national gaslighting. America's greatest liar lying with abandon. CNN's Kaitlan Collins was the person strapped to Chris Licht's proverbial Titanic bow. She was given the challenge of trying to control, to restrain, to challenge Donald Trump when he lied. Whatever analogy you would like to use, an avalanche, a tsunami, or a shipwreck, Kaitlan Collins faced an unstoppable force. 8 years after he descended the escalator into the bowels of Trump Tower, the man who lied more than 30,000 times to the American people as president of the United States, the man who incited an insurrection with his intimations of violence, the man who seeks power for the purpose of retribution, who gave moral succor to a war criminal, stood on that stage unchallenged, unbridled, and unrestrained. Chris Licht didn't do this for news. He didn't do it to educate. He did it because he's a profiteer, just like Rupert Murdoch. All of this was predictable and seen developing from long ago. One of the greatest journalists who has ever lived was a man named Edward R. Murrow. And he talked about the dangers he foresaw from television, from radio in 1958. Here's what he said.
I invite your attention to the television schedules of all networks between the hours of 8 and 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Here you will find only fleeting and spasmodic reference to the fact that this nation is in mortal danger. Television, in the main, insulates us from the realities of the world in which we live. If this state of affairs continues, we may alter an advertising slogan to read, "Look now and pay later."
Among the more remarkable aspects of the CNN travesty is this. There were written instructions given to the assembled audience of Trump voters and sycophants. They were told, by all means, cheer for Donald Trump, but don't boo him. That's not permissible. Now, in the aftermath, what Chris Licht said was, we have created news. In the old days, networks didn't create news so much as cover what was happening, the great and tumultuous events of the day. Now, Chris Licht thinks that he's in the business of manufacturing news. What he did was incite a clearly unstable person who seeks political power for the purposes of advancement of an extremist agenda. That's not news. Chris Licht's decision was a business decision. This wasn't news. This wasn't aimed to elucidate, educate, or to explain. It was aimed to make money. Edward R. Murrow understood this as well. He saw the cynicism of the executives around the business of informing the American people around the vital issues that would keep their society alive. Let's listen to him talk about this.
One of the basic troubles with radio and television news is that both instruments have grown up as an incompatible combination of show business, advertising, and news. Each of the three is a rather bizarre and at times demanding profession. And when you get all three under one roof, the dust never settles.
The decision by CNN's Chris Licht to throw Donald Trump a propaganda rally, to stack an audience full of his sycophants, and then to celebrate it as news, to say that this helped the American people and fulfilled CNN's duty to the public good, is an absurdity. It's as delusional as anything that Donald Trump said on his air. Here's what Chris Licht doesn't understand. Donald Trump isn't entertainment. He's not a prop. He's not an actor. He's among the most dangerous Americans who's ever lived. He is the American that seeks to topple the American Republic that was born in the fire of revolution in 1776. Donald Trump is a man who stood on a stage erected by CNN and said that he's ambivalent about the outcome of a war being waged by the war criminal Vladimir Putin, in which thousands of children have been kidnapped and taken east, where thousands of Ukrainian women have been raped. The event that Chris Licht produced was evidence of America's sickness and its decay. No moment more vivid than when Donald Trump's audience cheered and laughed as he smeared and defamed the woman whom he had been found guilty of sexually assaulting, abusing, and defaming just hours before the CNN town hall. What an appalling moment. America learned nothing from this event that it didn't already know. What it saw is more evidence of the political and media corruption that is deeply harming the fabric of the country. What they saw is an unfit despot who seeks political power to seek retribution against the people who he feels wronged him. What the American people saw was someone incapable of recognizing reality, someone who is insensitive to fact, a blusterer, a narcissist, a deluded old man with venom and malice in his heart. What Chris Licht produced wasn't journalism, it was a snuff film. And the subject was American democracy. The decay of the United States is unfolding in real time on a type of sick reality show that has been dressed up by cynical men like Chris Licht and called news. It isn't news. It's a documentary of unraveling, of disintegration, of the most advanced, prosperous society that there has ever been in all of the history of human civilization. That's what CNN's meager audience of 3.1 million Americans saw when they tuned in to watch Chris Licht to attempt to monetize a stale, old show. There is nothing new to learn about Donald Trump. The only thing new to consider is the threat he poses in the immediate future. What happened on CNN was a grotesquerie. It was an assault on the American people, on basic values of decency and honesty and integrity, for the power of the almighty dollar. America's greatest liar was beamed into America's homes. CNN journalists understand what a sad and pathetic moment it was. And it was. This country's in so much trouble, there's almost no words for it. Why is it that the men who lead America's newsrooms do not understand the danger? Maybe if they listen to Edward R. Murrow, they'll get it a little bit. Good night and good luck with these final words from one of America's great journalists.